globalization and climate change, explaining everything. He is a 3-time Pulitzer Prize winning journalist, a former Middle East correspondent. I sat down with him earlier to talk about, everything.
When you get that much acceleration, you get a lot of phenomena at once. So, for instance, in America, or Northern England, I suspect, in the Midlands, a lot of people lately, because this throws a lot of people together, they went to the grocery store and there was someone there wearing a different head covering. In American terms, it wasn't a baseball cap. Really good by me, but maybe odd for some people. Then they went to the men's room, and lately there seemed to be someone of a different gender at the stall next door. I happen to welcome that, LGBT rights, but that came very fast for a lot of people. Then they went to work, and somebody rolled up a robot next to him who seems to be studying their job. So if you think what anchors people in the world, where they live and where they work, and who they're associate with, there's been a lot of tumult in all of those areas as a result of these accelerations.
Right. Now, Trump, President of the United States, many would say he's been put there to slow down these accelerations of which your book is concerned.
Right.
Do you think Trump can slow this down, can stop it?
So my 3 accelerations, they're like a hurricane. Trump, I believe, is selling a wall to the hurricane. What my book is selling is an eye that moves with the storm, draws energy from it, but creates a platform of dynamic stability within it where people can feel connected, protected, and respected.
You are the personification of the global elite.
Yes.
You're traveling everywhere, you write about globalization.
Yes, right.
Do you acknowledge that you personally didn't do enough to talk about helping the whole population live in the eye of these storms of these great accelerations, as opposed to just getting on with it and forgetting that there were lots of people who maybe weren't as enthusiastic about it as you?
Absolutely not. If you read my books, there isn't a book, whether it's Lexus Neolatry, World is Flat, this book, or That Used to Be Us, which I wrote a few years ago, that didn't make the very simple case. Globalization is everything and its opposite. It's incredibly empowering, incredibly disempowering. It creates opportunities. It also is very authoritarian. And my whole argument all along was you got to get the best out of it and cushion the worst. And I never wrote a book that wasn't about exactly that, about safety nets, education, retooling, reskilling, and opportunity.
You spent a lot of your career covering and being involved in the Middle East and that whole area. It's obviously another area, quite apart from globalization and all the other things we've been talking about, where Donald Trump appears to be marking quite a big change to previous regime. Israel appears emboldened to some extent by the arrival of Donald Trump in the White House. What is your view about what is going on and the change in policy there?
So Donald Trump is the first man to win the American presidency with only one sentence, basically, on every issue. So at the most one paragraph. And his paragraph on Israel basically is, I'm going to move the embassy, U.S. embassy, from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem and acknowledge that as the capital, even though it's in dispute, and we've never done that before in America. And basically to give Israel carte blanche. And that means basically encouraging Israel to go from a 2-state solution to a 1-state solution. Here's what Trump doesn't understand. Here's why that is incredibly reckless. As long as the debate within Israel and the broader global world Jewish community was over 2 states, then it was a debate between left and right. You think the line should be here, I think it should be there. It was a debate between left and right. When you go from a 2-state solution to a 1-state solution, the debate shifts to right-wrong. South African Israel or a democratic Jewish, Israel. And when that happens, Evan, you will blow up every synagogue, every Jewish institution in the world, because that debate will rip apart the entire Jewish community.
So what's your advice to members of that community? How should they react?
My advice is very simple. Friends don't let friends drive drunk. And right now, in my view, the Israeli right that's governing Israel is driving drunk. And America did the kindest thing, Obama did the kindest thing it can to a friend who's driving drunk, and that was to try to sober them up.
How do you think the press should react to Donald Trump?
Well, I'm a columnist. I fortunately now just write 1 column a week instead of 2, which is really great in the age of Trump, because if you engage with him too much, too often, and too closely, he will actually suck your brains out, because he is such an indecent person, capable of such indiscreet behavior, and that you can totally get caught up covering everything he does, and he also lies as he breathes. This is very unusual. That there's simply, his differentiation between truth and fiction, is just constantly elides back and forth. So my philosophy is watch his hands, not his lips. Always just watch what he's doing and focus on that. Because if Democrats, if liberal Republicans who opposed him want to defeat him, they better not lose the signal in the noise. And the signal is this guy came out of nowhere. He won the Republican nomination, he won the presidency, and he won it by connecting at the gut level with a significant group of Americans. And if liberal Republicans and Democrats don't figure out their own way to connect at the gut level with those people, we're going to have 8 years of this guy, not 4. Oh my God.
Tom Friedman, thank you very much.
My pleasure.